The silent crisis is reshaping our world. Fertile lands are turning into deserts, pushing ecosystems and communities to the edge. But there's hope. Through locally led land restoration and sustainable development, neighbors are working together to revive damaged landscapes and the lives they sustain. In Spain, unsustainable water use, industrial farming, and climate change have led to shrinking groundwater and failing crops. A group called Alvelal is bringing together farmers, businesses, and concerned citizens to reimagine the future of the land.
Bueno, uno de los grandes retos y problemas que está teniendo el territorio en los últimos años, cada vez llueve menos, la desertificación está viniendo cada vez más a pasos gigantados. Es por eso que desde Alvelal tenemos varios proyectos en términos de atajar la desertificación y el cambio climático. Estamos enfocados mucho en la agricultura regenerativa. Creemos que a través de una agricultura sana y regenerativa se puede restaurar también el territorio, y a través de la restauración de ecosistemas, plantando especies de plantas autóctonas para intentar reintroducir ciertas especies y luchar así contra la desertificación.
Además, durante los años en los que yo tengo conocimiento de esta finca, se ve claramente cómo se han ido las fuentes, los nacimientos de agua han ido rebajando su caudal, sobre todo durante la época seca, pero en un ciclo de 10-20 años algunas incluso han desaparecido.
At nearby La Junquera Regenerative Farm and Village, they've come together to restore degraded soils and reintroduce biodiversity alongside sustainable and profitable agriculture.
This farm is interesting because it's experimenting on a lot of different levels. It's one of the biggest regenerative farms in Spain, which means that it's implementing regenerative practices, which are more sustainable ways of managing the land that aim at regenerating the soil, the biodiversity, livelihoods, water cycles. So it's different techniques that go from tilling less the land to diversifying crops, to doing reforestation and implementing biodiversity hedges to connect with wildlife corridor different parts of the farm.
By looking beyond their own boundaries, they seek to renew regional water cycles and climate resilience, creating a model for regenerative farming and food security.
I think we have to help the landscape more than the landscape has to help us. We have to help the landscape right now because the landscape is in risk.
In Niger, where the Sahara Desert has been advancing, the resilient acacia tree is more than survival. It's a lifeline. This hardy tree enriches the soil, prevents erosion, and creates microclimates for other plants to flourish. Farmers become frontline ecosystem and economy builders as they work with a local company called ADAX, which is organizing the effort. Together, they are reviving acacia groves to produce gum arabic, a valuable renewable ingredient for food and cosmetics, which offers income and empowerment while reversing desertification.
Andi kerma karu ki inde ma fuleni ana tenda isi azu badini ana karu ki inde jo mara fuleni ana ai kangwa zi yim burwon tiji mazi cha fasal bala zi ma naftundu azini kerma kango zi kololu samma jitu ba kalala kololu samma chalja ne kololla loru zane kololu kerma har kerma ma kuskala chalja na so urumia ti njula kerma ma kango ti den burtak piada.
Acacia farming is creating new economic opportunities, empowering communities to trade sustainably and lift themselves out of poverty. This integrated approach, restoring land while fostering sustainable trade, shows how a single initiative can have wide-reaching benefits.
ye imingi imbane kokari jogano bezzanta min sosai bezzana min dala fe ugode wara ledde de mbada amfani imaje sosai in itta dashe de mbada amfani imaje.
Parce qu'ici on a du potentiel, le terrain il est favorable à la gomme. C'est un terrain favorable. Mais malheureusement les arbres que nous avons des gommiers, ils sont vétustes. Donc on a besoin vraiment du renouveau. Et si vraiment on replante avec l'espèce locale, vraiment, ça va encore vraiment beaucoup améliorer le train de vie des cueilleurs, des villageois, mais ça va vraiment être bénéfique pour tout le monde.
In South Africa, the Living Lands initiative is transforming degraded landscapes with a focus on 4 returns: natural, social, financial, and inspirational. They are reviving native vegetation through controlled burns and rainwater capturing interventions. Their effort yields improved water retention, which enables the community to withstand drought and climate stress. These actions restore land and rejuvenate lives, making resilience tangible for everyone involved.
With the loss of vegetation that we've had in this landscape, you lose the ability for the vegetation to trap water. So we make these soil erosion ponds to slow down water and trap it and hopefully increase the infiltration into the ground. And that kickstarts all sorts of nutrient cycles and carbon cycles and tries to promote vegetation growth.
The fynbos ecosystem doesn't have very many natural trees, and the ones that do occur in riparian areas and kind of small pockets of thicket. And this is made mainly because the fynbos is a fire-dependent system. It requires fires to rejuvenate it, to regenerate it, and to germinate seed. What Living Lands is looking at doing in some of these fynbos systems is to utilize fire as a management tool. Fire is not a tool that can solve all of these problems, but certainly it can make addressing some species of invasive control measures in mountain catchments in a slightly more affordable way.
Communities are pioneering a landscape-scale approach north of Nairobi, around Mount Kenya. They tackle drought and water insecurity head-on by linking forests with semi-arid areas. Restoring these forests supports agriculture, enhances biodiversity, and sustains water sources vital for life downstream. This interconnected approach unites land and water restoration with poverty reduction, creating a model that can inspire change across regions.
If you go somewhere where there is less tree or in a desert and you go to the forest, you'll feel a significant difference in between those two places. And basically before there was that hotness in the area, but with the increase of trees that are being planted in the area, you are still seeing a significant change in the conducive environment within the area. Even the crops are doing well.
We work with smallholder tea farmers, smallholder coffee farmers, and also forest-dependent communities. But due to climate change, production has really gone down. So we are helping to address this by ensuring that we protect the forest, the upstream. Once we protect that forest, which is the source of our rivers, then it means destruction will not happen.
We are doing forest conservation and management for the well-being of the community. It's like forests by the people for the people. We manage these forests to serve the local community, far and wide, locally and abroad. These forests, especially the indigenous trees, they are carbon sinks. And forestry is the backbone of even the whole development of the country. Without these forests, nothing else can go on.
Kamugunda gakwa ni kathiri kuota. Na riu kamugunda gaka ni kongoretwo njigite tuthamaki na ngaiga tuguku, ngarithia ng'ombe, ngahanda mikondobia, ngahanda kahua na ngaiga njuki o mugunda-ini uriku. Kamugunda-ini o kau kathiri kuota. Riu akone ta hingo ria ndarimaga tene. Kwareo kamugunda gaka ni urona ni kanini na kareo na manjani matheri. Na kena manjani matheri ugu kaini kam karia ndaonaga ni kari kanini muno. No riu kuma ndambiriria gukorwo ndina indo nyingi ndirarimanĩria ugu ni nyonaga ni ndageire mbeca nyingi koguo riu ti toria ndakoragwo ndi down tene riu ni undu ucio ni wanyambararirie.
In southwestern Australia, climate change is altering weather patterns, making dry areas wetter and wet areas drier. 2/3 of the native vegetation has been cleared to make way for agriculture. Modern cropping systems are causing groundwater supplies to become salty. Crops have failed in recent years, and wildlife is disappearing. Communities have gone on the hunt for a new way to do things. That's led some concerned citizens and an organization called Gondwana Link to look for ways to knit people and nature back together.
My family, through a whole process of the government deciding to release this land, landed here in 1965 and cleared, 85% of this property of its bushland. And in a very, very rough calculation, that's over 55 million plants just on this property alone that we were responsible for killing. And to actually be able to turn that around a bit and heal it, we'll never get the ecology possibly back to what it was. But we can take it in steps towards something better and something healing for land, but the people as well.
One of those projects involves returning the land to Indigenous people and the traditional land use practices that can heal it from decades of damage from modern agriculture.
The threat to our environment, however, is so challenging that unless we move quickly, we'll miss the opportunity to save what is so rapidly eroding. And so it's so very important for us to act quickly and to work with people who can embrace our vision. And part of that vision is to get the best people to look after land. Who are the best people to look after land? Those who've had 30, 60,000 years worth of experience doing so.
From Spain's almond orchards to South Africa's savannas and Australia's dry rangelands, these landscapes show the power of unity in restoring ecosystems and sustaining livelihoods. When local actions align, they ripple outward, impacting global biodiversity, climate resilience, and poverty reduction. The fight against desertification is about more than survival. It's about building a future where communities and nature thrive together. Through integrated landscape management, concerned citizens worldwide are fostering resilient ecosystems, reducing poverty and creating a lasting green legacy for future generations.